Good morning and welcome to Redeemer. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. We're back to the Mount of Olives again today as we look at the role of mountains in Matthew and how they mark high points in the gospel story. When I was in Israel, our day on the Mount of Olives started at the very top in a special chapel that was one of my favorites. It was actually rather small. There were no places to sit, and it was simply a circular building, I guess, about 30 feet in diameter. It was the Chapel of the Ascension, and we stared at a rock which tradition said was the last place Jesus' foot touched before he ascended into heaven. What was so neat, however, was that while the chapel has a roof now, when it was originally built, it was built without a roof so that visitors could stare up into the sky just like those disciples stared after Jesus. Matthew doesn't name the mountain, but other sources say this is where the ascension happened. Our passage for today is Matthew 28:16 through 20. It says, "Now the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain to which Jesus had directed them. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. And Jesus came and said to them, 'All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you. And remember, I am with you always to the end of the age.'" Now, interestingly, that also happens to be our gospel reading for this coming Sunday. But there are some particular things to note in this passage. First, they worshiped Jesus. That means they knew and realized that Jesus was truly the Son of God. Another important thing to note is that some still doubted. And that speaks to our own doubts sometimes, and how faith is sometimes strong and sometimes weak. And then the authority that the devil had offered Jesus way back on the first mountain we looked at, the Mount of Temptation. Jesus can claim that now, that authority. And it was achieved through God's way, not any devil-inspired shortcut. Then the disciples are commissioned to go out and tell the story, to make disciples and baptize. And then there is the promise that we are not alone, that we are never forsaken. Jesus is always with us. Truly, this is a high point. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.